Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. So if we want to become autonomous, first we have to get NAC A grade. So most of the colleges now we want to become autonomous. So we are trying to become that NAC A grade. And if we get A plus plus, your autonomous status will be given without any UGC visit. But it's a very remote chance because, as I told, only 14 colleges across the country they got only A plus plus. And those colleges who got A plus or A double plus last year they got 30 lakhs from UGC to enable NAC in nearby colleges. So there is another bonus. Nearly 169 colleges they got 30 lakhs last year. And I think slowly, I think as per our new education policy, slowly the autonomous colleges will evolve as a degree awarding institute under the new education policy. So once you become autonomous, you can become a degree awarding institute. So like your university, you can award the degree yourself like that. And in some state like Maharashtra, they so basically you are already 10-year-old and you want to become autonomous. So you want to go for uh, you should have NAC A grade to get to become autonomous. Okay, and so the NAC has brought the changes in 2017, and the new evaluation process has started in 2018 onwards. So right now we'll be discussing these quantitative and qualitative parameters for affiliated colleges. So there are 60 quantitative parameters and 36 qualitative parameters. For affiliated colleges, we had addressed nearly 96 parameters. So now the NAC SSR self-study report consists of data about 60 quantitative parameters and 36 qualitative write-ups. Okay. So that is our first job to submit it. Even this quantitative qualitative parameter, there is a revision in January 1st, 2020. So previously it is 121 parameter. Right now they reduced to 96 parameters. So previously it is 121 till December 2019. From January onwards, it became 96 parameters, and we have to get, as I told you, 76% and above to get A grade. Okay. So this NAC accreditation is valid for 5 years, and if you get even minimum 1.51, you'll get C grade and you'll become NAC accredited. But our aim is to get minimum A or A plus. Okay. And in some colleges who could not get A or A so most of the colleges who are already having NAC accreditation as A, sometimes they get B plus or B double plus. So such colleges, after 1 year from the date of visit, you can go for NAC reassessment to improve the score. So some of the colleges, because as I told you, nearly 1,300 colleges, they are in the range of B or B plus or B double plus. So near the 1,300 colleges, definitely at least 10% or 20% colleges are very good. They can improve their score by going for NAC reassessment after 1 year from the date of visit. So that is also happening. So as I told you, our maximum score is 4 in NAC. There is a grade point average. I think all of us are aware about the grade point average, and we have to get 88% to get A plus plus, and 82% to get A, and 76% to get A. Okay, so it is converted into on a scale of 4. It is 3.01 or 3.26 or 3.51. Okay, so we'll be discussing how to get 3.01 consistently in all criteria so that we can aim for A. And I think all the faculty member you have to understand what is qualitative and quantitative parameters. So the qualitative is uh, description of your teaching learning process or the ambience of the laboratories, library, and what is our teaching learning process, and how this extension or NSS activity helps the students' overall development. So these are some of the qualitative parameters. Quantitative means data, like how many faculties are there, what is your faculty student ratio for last 5 years, how many PhDs are there, what is the faculty's average experience in the same college. All the things are the quantitative parameters. So affiliated colleges, 60 quantitative parameter is there, 36 qualitative parameter is there. So as I discussed, affiliated quantitative parameter is there. So this parameter, the weightage is 670 marks. Okay, as I told you, 2/3 of marks in our hand, in the faculty hand. So nowadays we can't blame either NAC or we can't blame any experts, because 2/3 marks are in the hands of the college or the faculty member who are preparing or working for NAC. So if you are able to provide data, good data along with evidences, and all the data is accepted by data verification validation agency, you have chances of getting A grade. Okay. So the qualitative parameter only 36 and 330 mark is there. So the expert generally, after once they are satisfied with the campus, generally they award either 3 or 4 for all the questions. So on the average, we'll get 3 marks in the expert visit. Okay, so totally 96 parameter is there, and we have 1000 marks. Okay. So in case if you have any doubts or any queries, you can put it on chat, and I think the message will reach me. Then I'll be able to discuss your points. I can discuss the points uh, during the delivery of the session itself. Okay, I think chat is enabled only. Okay, chat is enabled only. Okay. Yeah, so this I think all the faculty member you are aware about these 7 criterias, and look at the third column or fifth column. And this is affiliated colleges. So the curricular aspect 100, teaching learning evaluation 350, research consultancy extension 120. Even though it's the research consultancy extension 120 mark is there, for affiliated college, really the research component only 50 marks, and your extension activity, that is your NSS activity, another 50 marks, and another 20 marks is for your industry institution interaction and MOUs. Okay, so effectively research only 50 marks only under criteria 3. Infrastructure learning resources 100, student support and progression is 130, governance and leadership and management is 100, and institutional value and best practice is another 100. So these are the 7 criteria, and under these 7 criteria, we have to address nearly 96 parameters. Now we'll look at the parameters. So as I told you, there are 96 total parameters, 60 quantitative parameters. So there are 60 quantitative parameter is there and 36 qualitative parameter is there. So if you look at the criteria wise, there are 8 curricular aspect in criteria 1. There are 8 quantitative parameters, weightage 75, and 3 qualitative parameter, weightage 25. Okay. Out of 8 quantitative parameters, 2 parameters are relevant for 2019-20. Okay, all these quantitative parameters we have to submit data for last 5 years. Out of 60 parameters, 22 parameters, the data is relevant for 1920. So only 38 parameters we have to provide data for last 5 years. Okay, so in the teaching learning evaluation, there are 9 quantitative and 7 qualitative, and research and extension 12 quantitative and 2 qualitative, infrastructure 8 quantitative and 5 qualitative, student support and progression 11 quantitative and 2 qualitative, governance and institutional value best practice 6 each, and 10 and 7 qualitative parameters. So if you look at that last column, there are 22 quantitative parameter which are for the year 1920. So 1920, last year, even if you improved some of these parameters, you can get a better score. So as I discussed, 60 parameter, the weightage is 670. So 2/3 marks in our hand only, and another 36 parameter, 1/3 mark in the hands of the expert. So both will be combined. Again, we have to get 76% to get A grade. Okay, and the NAC is having a provision for affiliated and autonomous colleges to opt out some parameters. Okay, opt out means some parameter there may not be much data in some colleges. There is a question in criteria 6, now criteria 5, whether alumni of the college have donated more than 5 lakhs for the institute. So I think most of the engineering colleges and most of the arts and science colleges, alumni are not extensively participating in the college developmental activities, and there is no donation from alumni members. So under that circumstances, we can opt out from that particular parameter. Likewise, there is another parameter in criteria 6 where the question is whether any individual has contributed to the college development. So any individual or a philanthropist have contributed to the college development or department, laboratory development, like that. So I think again most of the self-financing colleges, no individual is contributing for college development. So any other individual has contributed zero. So again we can opt out. So some parameters, if you want, we can opt out. So your 1000 score will become 970, and your evaluation will take place for 970. So this opt out also we have to exercise at the end of the before submission. We have to decide whichever parameter we are very weak, we can opt out. Okay, and I think before getting into the NAC criteria wise discussion, all the faculty member you have to understand some of the NAC terminologies, you have to understand what is department and what is program and what is school. So the program is your UG or PG program. Okay, the department may offer a UG program in mechanical engineering and a PG program in mechanical engineering. So program is your EG or PG program or PhD program, and department is the offers both UG or PG or PhD programs. So courses is what subject you teach. So whatever subject you are teaching, they are known as courses, and there are some course outcome and program outcome. I think most of the engineering college faculty members are conversant with course outcome and program outcome. So this is some new concept which is evolving as outcome-based education. So the course outcome is what student can do at the end of the course, and the program outcome is what student gain in terms of knowledge, skills, or behavior at the end of third year or fourth year. Okay. So this outcome-based education, we have to adopt it, and NAC insists all the colleges and universities you have to adopt the outcome-based education, and it is given weightage in criteria 2. And another very important parameter is one IQAC. It is internal quality audit cell, and all the colleges we have to establish is internal quality audit assurance cell, and their job is to carry out audits periodically across all the department, so that we can maintain some quality of course files, lab manuals, teaching learning process, like that. And InfliNet is another government of India entity where your journals all getting accumulated, and your H index and impact factor, for autonomous college and universities, the H index and the impact factors are provided by InfliNet to NAC. Okay, and some of the other terms is your Board of Study and Academic Council, and governing body and governing council. Okay, then a charge-based credit system or elective system. I think we have to find out whether we are adopting the charge-based credit system or elective system. And we also should know what is our citation index and H index for our publications. Not for affiliated colleges, but for autonomous and university, we should know about it. And then mentoring. Most of the colleges, the student mentoring is not well streamlined now. The principal and HOD would streamline the student mentoring and collaboration. And EPSCO, Scopex, and SOYAM. EPSCO is a database for management department. Scopex and is a publication, journal publications under Scopex, and SCI and Web of Science, like that. And SWIME and MPTEL as a MOOC platform, an online education platform. Sudganga, Sudh comes under InfluNet, and I think as a affiliated college, you can become a member of Sudganga and Sudh. It is possible if you are autonomous and universities. ICT is whether we are using computers or smart classrooms and LCD projectors or modern teaching aids like that. And impact factor is our journal publications. And IAQA is institutional information for quality. It is the first step that we are applying. If you want to apply for NAC, first you have to apply the IAQA form. You have to fill the IAQA form and submit the data. Once NACS approves your IAQA, then you are eligible to submit your data. Data verification validation, DVV. It is a process where your data and evidences are verified. And so most important thing is this data verification validation people, sometimes they'll say your data is not consistent, and sometimes they say your data is not perfect, it's not clean. It implies the hook up any data. Actual data we have to provide, and if they find out any manufactured data or wrong data, they say the data is not clean. And if they say the data is not clean, then automatically they'll verify intensively whether data is correct or not. Okay, based on our evidences. So we cannot submit any wrong data. So, like in placement in some colleges, sometimes even these appointment orders are not the actual appointment orders, it is getting generated at the college level. So, it is a wrong approach. And if they comes to know, or the DVV people, if they comes to know, they will they reject the data and you will get 0 marks. Okay. And how to proceed with the NAC. So, my advice for affiliated colleges is first you try to focus on the data collection for the 60 quantitative parameters. So, you try to form criteria wise faculty groups, and train the faculty members on what data we have to collect and what evidence we have to collect, and tell them collect the data for last 5 years along with evidences, so that you can streamline your data collection and evidence collection process. Once you have done the data collection, whatever your collect data is collected, you convert into digital format. That is, you update the data into Excel sheets of NAC, and also try to organize some summary sheets and evidences. You try to organize in a orderly fashion, and you try to scan all the document into PDF documents so that for uploading. So all the data, whatever you are uploading to the NAC portal, it will be in the Excel data sheets, and evidences you have to upload and scan it and convert into a PDF document, single PDF document for each parameter for uploading. So once the data collection is over, the principal and HOD we can discuss, and once you are satisfied with the data collection, you can go for institutional information for quality assessment (IAQA). So you have to submit IAQA with 25,000 rupees and 18% GST. So around 29,500 we have to pay by to NAC. So once IAQA is approved, NAC will enable the e-portal for the college. And now once it is enabled, The college can now upload the Excel sheets and evidences on the NAC e-portal. And in some colleges, we also upload the data on our college website also, along with evidences. So we'll get around 45 days normally, but during this Corona period, NAC said after the lockdown, they'll give 3 months to upload the data. So we'll get around 3 months more time to upload the data after the coronavirus. So once you data verification validation process will take place, and the student survey also will commence immediately after submission of the data. Okay. So after that, the DVV will raise some queries on the data and evidence what we submitted, and all the DVV queries we had addressed within 15 days with the more evidences. So again, the DVV will verify and compare, go through our evidences, and they'll approve your approve your data and evidences. Once the DVV approves the evidence, then we can pay the NAC fees, and then the expert visit will take place within 1 month or 2 months, and the expert visit only for 2 days. Okay, then the result will be able to get within 15 days or 30 days of the expert visit. So as I told you, NAC institute level and criteria wise, we can nominate the coordinators, and each criteria you can put a faculty from all the departments. So each criteria will be represented by faculty from all departments. So then we have to tell them the data collection process. So data collection normally it will take 3 months time. During the 3 months time, we can collect data, when we can organize data, we convert into digital format, and we can update the Excel sheets. Okay. So another 3 months, the DVV expert visits are successful. Now everything will take place. So it is now generally it is 6 to 9 months time, but because of the coronavirus and because of the lockdowns, now it is getting extended to 9 to 12 months also sometimes. So now we will discuss criteria wise what are the major quantitative and qualitative parameters, and we will also have a discussion of one college case study. We'll take it as a case study and we'll discuss. So as I told you, there are 7 criteria are there, and criteria 1 is a curricular aspect. There are 8 quantitative parameters and 3 qualitative parameters. So 8 quantitative parameters, 75 mark is there. So the maximum mark for each parameter is 4. So the 75 multiplied by 4 is 300 marks. You can get it. Another 25 into 4, another 100. So 100 mark is there. 100 multiplied by 4, 400 is the maximum mark. Okay. Now criteria 1 is one criteria where we can aim even 4 out of 4, or 3.75 or 3.6. 3.6 means 90%. So in criteria 1, we can aim nearly 90%. So the first question is 1.13, where we have to mention whether faculties in our college or the members in the university board of study or academic council. I think this will be very difficult for affiliated colleges. Our faculty member may not be members of the affiliating university board of study or academic council, but some of you might be there in the question paper setting. That is also a rare opportunity. But most of you are there in the development of curriculum for a value-added course or add-on course. So add-on course or certificate course or the training program, what you are doing it for your students beyond the curriculum. So for all the value-added and certificate courses, you are preparing the curriculum. So you can take a certificate from the principal saying that you are involved in the preparation of the curriculum and content for the particular value-added course. And I think all the faculty members or most of the faculty members, you are participating in the university examination system. So this 1.13, we'll have evidence for development of curriculum and development of university evaluation system. So you will get basically only 2 marks here. Because if you want to get 4 marks, you have to be members in the Board of State Academic Council and you have to prepare a question paper setting. But here, even at least one faculty is a member of Board of State Academic Council will get the marks, okay? During last 5 years also. Not every year. Any year you can become you whether you are a member. So if there is here only most of the colleges will get only 2 marks. So 2 into 5, 10 marks will get. Okay, and the next question is try to understand because some colleges I feel the faculty they could not understand what is the question and they give the wrong answer, so you'll be losing the mark. Whether I think most of the engineering colleges we are following the elective courses. All the syllabus we have electives, and if your university is adopted the charge-based credit system also, it is fine. So all the UG and PG program we have electives, so it is 100%. So you'll get full marks here. Then just find out how many last 5 years, how many value added or certificate program you conducted. The condition is the program should be over 30 hours duration. That is, you should have conducted for more than 4 days or 5 days training program for students. And the certificate or add-on courses should be different from what you teach in the curriculum. So same named syllabus. I think syllabus there is a MATLAB. With the same MATLAB, you can't say it is a add-on course or certificate course because MATLAB is part of the syllabus. So you have to say some design tools of engineering design software like MATLAB or like that. You have to name the course, value added course. You should be naming. Same MATLAB should not appear in our value added course. Okay. So if you're even if I conducted around 15 or 20 program during last 5 years, you'll get full marks here. The percentage of student participation again is around 30 to 40%. You'll get full marks here. 1.32 is a new question they're asking the 2020 NAC manual. It is basically you have to take all your courses in the last 4 years during the 4 years time period for all the department, find out how many courses are connected to experiential learning, that is practical learning. So how many all your lab courses, project work, field visits or internships are all connected to practical knowledge. So you have to find out what is the percentage of courses connected to practical knowledge, practical experiential learning. Then you will get full marks. So around 30 to 40% courses are experiential learning for engineering colleges. In arts and science, it may be around 10 to 15%. So you'll get full marks here. And 1.33 is in 2019-20. That is last academic year, 2019-20. What is the percentage of students going for field visit and internships or project work? Okay. So I think in engineering colleges, all the third year, fourth year students might be going for the internships or projects works or field visits or industrial visits. So I think around 20 to 30% students are going out. So it is also will get full marks here. So 1.41 and 1.42 use try to implement that we are taking feedback on the curriculum from students, alumni, faculty members, and then employers. Okay, and this feedback, whether we are collecting the feedback and whether we are analyzing the feedback and whether we are taking some action, you are writing to the university regarding the new innovative curriculums like that, and whether we are publishing the action taken reports on the website. I think this is a new activity, and if you are initiate this activity even 1920, and if you are able to prepare the support documents, you'll get full marks here. So especially in criteria 1, except 1.13, all the other parameters more or less we are able to get full marks. And the other 3 parameters, the experts are visiting the campus. So they once go through the infrastructure, and once they go through the faculty interaction and student interaction and major stakeholder interaction, once they feel the teaching learning process is systematized and all the faculty members have course files, lab manual, internal evaluation is taking place periodically, all the evidences are properly presented to the experts, Generally they give either 3 or 4 marks. Okay, if they're very impressed with the college, they'll give 4 out of 4. Otherwise, they'll give generally 3. At the worst case, they'll give either 1 or 2 marks. So generally, we can get 3 out of 3 for all the questions. And this is a case study. So this college, for first parameter, they got 3 marks. And the second, all the courses are choice-based credit system or elective system. They got full marks, and they offered around 20 plus add-on courses, value-added courses of minimum 30 hours duration. And I think 15 to 20% students are participating in the value-added courses, and nearly 25% experiential or practical courses, and around 19% students went for field work or internships. So if it is around 20 to 30%, you'll get 4 marks. And all these feedbacks on curriculum and analyzing the feedback and corrective actions are well presented, so they are getting full marks. So the qualitative component, that the data in our hand, we got maximum 90%, 3.6 we got. So experts, we can presume they are giving marks. So average, we got 3.5. So it's a very good score in criteria 1. So likewise, your score is calculated for what based on the data what we submit. Okay. So if you have any questions, please send it through chat. Okay. So I can include, I can address your question also in the chat. Okay. Just a minute. I think some chat messages are there. Just a minute. Say SSR report is your self-study report. Okay. So whatever the quantitative and qualitative report you are preparing, that you have to present it to the that you have to submit it. So that is your SSR report. Okay. Okay. So AQR is like IQAC. AQR is another report what you have to submit to NAC once after getting the accreditation. You have to submit yearly report to NAC. That is known as AQR report, annual quality audit report. That is you have to present it to the NAC after getting the NAC. After the NAC accreditation, every year you have to submit one annual quality audit report to NAC. Okay, so that is known as AQR report. Okay. Okay, now we'll discuss criteria 2. So criteria 2 is more challenging in 2020 NAC. That is January 1st, even the version 2 of the NAC has been announced, and they revised the NAC parameters. As I told you previously, we had addressed 21 parameters, right now only 96 parameters. Previously in the quantitative, there are 80 parameters. Right now we have only 60 quantitative parameters there. So, as per my experience, now getting a very good score in criteria 2 is more challenging because uh, there are only 9 parameters are there, and the 225 mark is there. So out of 225 marks, one is student feedback. Okay, one is student feedback. Uh, So one thing they're asking, some expert, some faculty member has sent a query. He's asking what is C and CA like that. So the C is you are collecting the student feedback, collection of the student feedback. CA is collecting and analyzing the student feedback. Oh, no. Collection of the student feedback, analyzing, and AEA is action taken. Then web enablement. Okay, so you have to basically collect the student feedback, analyze it, and take some corrective action, and then you have to upload all the evidences on your website. And NAC accreditation is valid for 5 years. Okay, once you get A or A plus, it is valid for 5 years. Okay. Yeah, right now in criteria 2, it's more challenging. As I told you, the student feedback is 60, and we have to aim at least 3.2 or 3.6 in student feedback. Around 80 to 90% you have to aim in student feedback. So, student survey, we have to submit all the students from first year to final year. You have to submit the student roll number, student name, and in which class he is studying, what is his mobile number and email ID. And if you submit, if you have some 1,000 students in your entire campus, and NAC will randomly select the students, and they'll send around 30 to 40% mails to all the students. So whoever receives the mails, the student have to answer around 20 questions, and again for the question they have to say either 1 mark or 0 mark, 2 marks or 3 marks or 4 marks. So now we have to request the students, and we have to educate the student. NAC accreditation is very important for our college, and you have to answer all questions positively, and try to avoid either 3 or 4 marks for most of the question. Likewise, you have to, the principal and HOD, you have to meet the student and request them so that you can get some good marks. In some colleges, even we are advising the colleges to control the student survey through teacher mentors. I think each teacher is mentoring some 15 students, and the teacher will sit along with the student and will guide the student on how to award the marks for the student survey. Because if you get some marks like 2 or 2.5, your chances of getting A grade is comes down. Unless you get 3.2 to 3.6, or even in some colleges we got even 3.94 out of 4. Maximum is 4 marks. So 3.94 we got in one college, and some colleges, most of the colleges, we get around 3.2 or 3.6. So that we'll get good marks in student survey. So another 4 questions are very difficult in criteria 2. One is your uh, student enrollment. So the enrollment, you'll get 20 marks. 20 into full marks you'll get if your admission percentage is above 95%. So if the admission is no above 90%, you'll get full marks, and if it is 80%, you'll get 3 marks. If it is 70%, you may get 2 marks, and less than 70, you'll get 1 mark. So I think most of the engineering colleges admissions are slow, something around 60 to 70%. Then you'll get only 1 or 2 marks. So admission percentage is difficult. Another thing is, I think all colleges, if you have your intake 400, around 20% seats like reserved for SC, ST and OBC category, 20 to 40%. Even Tamil Nadu, we have 60% reserved for reserved category students. So out of this 20% or 80 students, how many students admitted in the reserved category? So if it is again 80%, you'll get full marks, and if it is 70%, you'll get 3, and if less than 60%, you'll get 2 or 1 marks. Okay, and the student full-time ratio is should be average 1:15. So last 5 years, on the average, if it is 1:15, you'll get full marks, and if it is less than 1:20, you'll get 3 marks. Okay, over 1:20, you'll get 2 marks. Okay, so on the average, it is 1:15 or 1:20, you'll get either 3 or 4 marks. 2.33 is number of students assigned to mentor. So mentoring, as I told, it should be mandatory, compulsory. So principal circular should be there nominating the faculty as a mentor for 15 or 20 students, and each teacher is having around 15 students for counseling. You will get full marks here, and the evidence also we had uploaded. Sanction intake is another simple parameter we understand. So for each 60 intake, as per the AST requirement, there should be 12 faculty members under 1:15. AST says 1:15, and UGC says either 1:20 or 1:30 for arts and science colleges. So engineering colleges, it is 1:15. So we need to have 12 faculty members for intake of 60 students. And if your intake is 500, 12 into 5 is around 60 faculty members should be there minimum in your college. So that is the sanction intake. Out of 60 faculty member, if you have around again is the same full-time 60 faculty member, then 100% faculties are available in our campus, so we'll get full marks here. So again, 100% you'll get full marks, and 30% you'll get 90%, you'll 80% you'll get 3 marks like that. So 2.42, 2.43 is difficult. What is the percentage of PhD available out of 60 faculty members? How many PhD qualified? So it is very difficult question. You will get full marks here if you have more than 50% faculty with the PhD qualification. So if more than 50% faculties are PhD qualified, you will get full marks here. If it is around 30% PhD qualified, you'll get 2 marks, and less than 10%, you'll get 0 mark, or maybe you may get 1 mark. Okay. So PhD qualification, most of the engineering colleges around 10 or 20%. So you'll get either 1 or 2 marks. You'll get here. A teaching experience, the same institute. So previously, it is overall teaching experience of the faculty members till 2019. Now, from 2020 January onwards, if we have 60 faculty members in our college, how many years the faculties worked in the same college? Faculty retention in the same college, how many years? So in the engineering college, it is mostly around 4 or 5 years. What is the average teaching experience? So the average teaching experience only 4 or 5 years means you'll get only 2 marks. If the average teaching experience in the same college is around 8 marks. That is, the faculty retention is around 8 years all faculties. Then you'll get four full marks. Will get 4 marks. Will get okay. 2.63 also is very difficult, provided your pass percentage in the final year or final semester is above 90%. You'll get full marks here. So if it is one full marks to get, if it is, the result is above 90%, you get 4 marks here. 80% you get 3 marks here. 70% above you'll get 2 marks, and less than 60%, less than 70% you get 1 mark here. So the final year or final semester, you have to give the pass percentage. I think most of the colleges we get a pass percentage of 70 or 80%. So either you'll get 3 marks or 2 marks here. If it is less than 1 mark here, to get 4 marks, full marks, and full marks. Okay. So as I told you, the nearly 4 parameters are very tough. One is the student admission. Another thing, how many faculties are PhD qualified, and faculties average experience in the same institute, and your pass percentage. So this 4 parameter 90 marks are there. And if the college is weak, and if the college is located in a rural location, these 4 parameters, the data may be weak. We will be losing the marks in criteria 2. So criteria 2, the other parameters are the qualitative, that the experts will be awarding the marks. So expert will be awarding the marks based on your teaching learning process. How do you address the weak and the bright student here? 30 mark is there. And in your teaching learning process, whether the experimental learning, problem based or problem solving, and project based learning, you will get you have to describe your teaching learning process, and you have to show the how the ICT tools are helping in process, and whether your internal evaluation, internal marks are very transparent, and whether you have grievance redressal in the internal examinations, and your course outcome you are defined for all courses, and COPO assessment methods. So if all the evidences are shown to the expert, they'll give either 3 or 4 marks for the qualitative parameters. So as I told you, if you take the case study, the quantitative score is for most of the colleges, it will come around only around 2.25. Getting very good quantitative score is very difficult. in criteria 3 unless you are very strong in the results and admission. Okay. Okay. So, say this college we got admission of 68%, so they are getting only 1 mark here. And the percentage of student admitted under the different category like SC, ST, and OBC category, they got 66%. They are getting only 2 marks here. Faculty student ratio, because of the less admission, the FSR is coming down. So right now this college is having 11.46 faculty student ratios, so they get full marks. And number of students assigned under each category is around 11 students, so they are getting full marks here. And the sanctioned versus full time is 100%, so 99%, so they are getting full marks here. So number of PhD, each department they have one faculty, so it effectively only 4% or 5% of the PhD members, so they are getting 0 mark, not even 1 mark, they'll get 0 mark here. And the faculty's average experience only 4 years in the same institute. Okay, so again we'll get either 1 or 2 marks here. And the final examination they got only 78%, so they're getting only 2 marks here. So you have to understand the NAC is having a benchmark for all these parameters. NAC has decided a benchmark value. Nobody knows what is a benchmark value. With our experience, we are telling what is the approximate benchmark value. So if it is 90%, you will get 4 marks. If it is 80% and above, you will get 3 marks. So this institute, they got only 79%. But only if it is 80%, you will get 3 marks. So if it is less than 80%, you will get only 2 marks. So that's what is happening here. Okay. And the student feedback also, this college, they got only 2.88. So they are losing the marks. So effectively, this college, they got only 2.3 in the quantitative. And the teachers, they go through the teaching learning process, they feel it is very good, reasonably good, so they award all the question 333. So effectively we got 2.5 only this parameter. So you have to understand this is the NAC assessment process. So unless we are strong in the data, so the data is also we can't modify the data, because admissions everything transparent. Your admission list you are sending to our university and your director of technical education, and whatever you are submitting as evidence you have to attach with the NAC e-portal. So you can't change the data, so you'll get less, you will get caught. If you change the data, you'll get caught. Okay, that is very important. So I think most of the faculty members are asking for the PPT. I think Sanskriti, the college is recording this webinar, and you can ask the college, you can write to the college and ask the webinar not presentation. I think the video will be available. You can ask the call, you can write to the college and they should be able to provide the video. Okay. So criteria 3 is criteria 2 teaching learning evaluation is 350 marks. Okay. 350 marks there. So this is a major criteria, and then as per the NAC, new NAC, 2020 NAC, getting very good score, 350 and to 4 maximum 1400 marks we can get in criteria 2. But now it is becoming more challenging. We can get only around 2.25 or 2.5. So your score in criteria 2 will be 350 multiplied by 2.5. So it will be around 800 or 900, around 850 marks you'll get out of 1400. Okay. So criteria 3 for affiliated college is not very difficult. Uh, it is not very difficult, because as I told you, nearly 50 mark is for your NSS activity. So if the college is very strong in NSS, you will get nearly 50 marks. Another 50 marks for your research activities, and another 50 marks will be uh, for another 20 marks for your in the industry institution interaction and MOUs. Okay, industry interaction and MOUs. Okay, so uh, just a minute. So for NSS, they're asking 3.42 to 3.44 and another 3.31 also here. So one thing is whether for NSS activity for Swachh Bharat like that activities, extension activities, whether you got any award from government agencies. So I think even if you got some NSS awards for blood donation or tree plantation from the collector or from the university, you got some award for your NSS activities, or from the local government, state government, you got some awards. So the award can be for the college or for the NSS coordinator or for the students. So if you got any award, and even if you got even 5 awards, you'll get full marks here. Even if we got 5 awards, I'm last 5 years also. The data is for last 5 years. Even if we got around 5 to 10 awards, you'll get full marks here. 5 awards, I think you'll get for even minimum 3 marks you'll get here. 3 into 10 is 30 marks you'll get here. So now how many NSS program conducted? So even on the average, every semester you are conducting around 5 program. So in a year you will be conducting 10 programs. So last 5 years you might have conducted 50 program. So if it is around 50 to 60 program, you'll get full marks here. Less than around 40 program, you'll get 3 marks here. Then I think all the students and teachers will be participating in NSS activities. So if it is around 60% student participate, you will get full marks here. So nearly for NSS, 10 plus 15 plus 20, 45 marks here. And this NSS, how it is helping the students' overall development, sensitizing the social issues that is prevailing in the society of the. So the students are getting sensitized with the social issues. You'll get 5 marks. So nearly 50 marks for your NSS. Okay. Another question is MOUs. How many tie-ups we have for student exchange, faculty exchange, internship, field trips, and training? So if it is around 60 plus, you'll get full marks here. Tie-up means so there is tie-up means. Uh, so try to understand what is tie-up and MOU. MOU means the institute and the company will sign the MOU. Okay, okay, and so MOU two signatures should be there, and MOU should be on a letterpad, or MOU should be on a stamp paper, and MOU should be active. That is current valid. Okay, so you'll get full marks here. So if you have around 20 plus MOUs, you'll get full marks here. And tie-ups, if you have around 60 plus. So tie-up means a letter from the company saying that your students are admitted for doing projects, or you are given permission for attending the. You are permitted to visit the campus. Okay, some tie-up letters. Okay. Field trip. I think students are visiting the industry, so they are getting a permission letter. Okay, okay. Just a minute. So good morning, sir. Yeah, sir. Good morning, sir. Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Chennai, sir. So I think thanks, sir. I got the money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. MBA for. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, 1:15 and 20% PhD, sir. Because of autonomous. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I think if we have already the MBA is valid, it is extended till next to June, sir. 1 year, all validity is extended. Uh, okay, okay. This is the first time. Okay, sir. Right. Okay, sir. Okay. Then we can submit the pre-qualifier, sir. They will give the approval. Yeah, they are giving. They are giving. They are functioning. So all the results they announced it. Pre-qualifier we can submit, no problem. But once after that we will get 6 months time to upload the SSR. So we can submit once the college reopens. So once the government announces, yeah, once the government announces the colleges can be reopened for faculty, then we can apply the pre-qualifier, sir. Even now also we can apply the pre-qualifier. Otherwise, we can apply after the college reopening. No, only criteria is only 20% PhD, sir. Yeah, from June onward. Yeah, the appointment should be before August 31st, sir. August 31st. So, okay, sir, no problem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I got a phone call from one college chairman. Uh, yeah, criteria three. Uh, the NSS, if you are very strong on arts and plus activities and 50% student participation, you'll get full marks here. And the MOUs also, if you have around 50 tie-ups and 20 MOUs, you'll get full marks here. Okay, and the research, whether you receive any money from government or NGOs for research or endowments. So even if you received around 20 lakhs during last 5 years for affiliated college, even 20 lakhs from last 5 years, you will get the full marks. Okay. So you might, if you receive around 20 lakhs from during last 5 years, okay, not even per year, if you receive around 4 lakhs, last 5 years you got 20 lakhs for research and other activities, you'll get full marks here. So 3.12 and 3.11, 12 and these things are connected. 3.33, 31 is both are connected. I think out of 16 faculty members, how many PhD qualified faculty members are university recognized research guide? So all the PhD qualified faculty members, if you have the university certification that you can register, you can take a PhD scholar under you, and what is the percentage of teachers available? So even if it is around 5%, 60 PhD, 60 faculty members are there, and 10% PhDs are PhD qualified. So six PhD qualified people are there. Out of 6 PhD qualified faculty members, 3 or 4 faculties are eligible PhD guide. So even if it is around 5 to 6%, you will get full marks here. The next question is 3.31 is how many scholars are registered under you? So there are 4 PhD guides, and under each PhD guide, around 4 or 5 scholars are available. So around 16 to 20 PhD scholars are available on each guide totally. Then you will get full marks here. Okay. Another 3.11 and 3.12s are connected. So how much research money you have got it? 20 lakhs or something like that. In how many departments? So if it is around 40% department have a research project, you will get full marks here. So for affiliated college, research is not very tough, but for autonomous and university is very tough. For autonomous and university, the research scores are 150 and 250 marks, so that's very tough. Criteria 3. For affiliated is very much easier only, but 3.32 and 3.33 is very tough unless the college is having a research publication per teacher. If the research publication per teacher is around 3 per year, so please understand 3 per year. So if there are 60 faculty members, 3 per year means every year 180 publications. Last 5 years, 180 into 5 means 900 publications. If you have 900 publications during last 5 years for 60 faculty intake faculties, then you will get full marks here. So very difficult. Okay. So most of the colleges, it is rural colleges means is only around 0.5 or less than 1. So less than 1, you will get 0 mark here. Because publication you are very weak, and again the publication should be approved in the UGC journal list. UGC having the list of approved journals. So in that UGC list, your publication has to appear, or it should be a Scopex indexed and Web of Science or SCA indexed thing. Okay. And another thing is whether the faculty members have written any books or chapters, or the faculty have national or international conferences, they have publication with the ISBN number. So the ISBN number is very important. The national international conferences with the ISBN publications, your journal publication has to be there. So here also, I mean, on the average should be around 2.5 or 2 per faculty. Then you will get either 3 or 4 marks. So this is the research criteria 3. And innovation ecosystem is again whether we are having facilities for entrepreneurship activities, and whether we have facilities for incubation, product development facilities within the campus. So the expert covered 3 marks here. So actually in criteria 3, in some colleges they get 3.25 and above. So this college they got 33 lakhs, so they got full marks here, and 40% department have research funding. They got 2 marks here. Number of PhD guide is less than 1.5, so it's very weak. So we are opting out. So some parameter we opt out. So the opt out is possible in new NAC from criteria 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can opt out from these four criteria, criteria 3, 4, 5, 6, maximum 10 marks from each criteria. So this criteria we are opting 5 marks in criteria 3. And number of workshops conducted on IPR or intellectual property rights or research methodologies, around 21 programs they conducted, so they're getting full marks here. PhD registered per PhD guide is 3 on the average, so they're getting B, 3 marks they're getting. Number of publication is around 2.2, so they're getting. So this college nearly 15-year old, so they're getting reasonably good research publications. Number of publication in the journals is very less. They're getting 1 marks. So they got 20 plus awards, so get full marks, and they have 80 plus NSS program, they got full mark. They have 60 plus student participants, they got full mark. They have 75 collaborative activities, so they got full mark. They have 20 plus MOUs, so they get full marks. So the expert visit they get 3.3. So the overall they are getting 3.3. So it's a very good score. Okay. So criteria 3, if you are reasonably good in NSS and industry research interaction, a little bit research activity, you can get full marks. You can get good score in criteria 3. Okay. I think the NAC visits are temporarily suspended, and I think the UGC as well as central government, they are not told about the reopening of the schools and colleges. So unless UGC and the central government says the colleges can be reopened in September or in October, after that only the NAC visit will take place. Even we have some 2-3 NAC visits scheduled in August and September. So most likely these visits will get postponed, and it will happen only after the UGC announcement. So UGC or AICT has to say that the colleges can be reopened for faculty and students. I think most likely it might happen in September or in October only. Okay, not before that. After that only the NAC visit will be there. So criteria 4 is on infrastructure related criteria. So this is one criteria where we can again get very good marks. On criteria 4, in some colleges we are able to get 3.6, that is 90% and above. So percentage of classroom with ICT enabled classroom. If all our classroom we have LCD projectors, or some classroom we have smart classroom, we'll get full marks here. So the requirement is 2/3 of the classroom should have the ICT enabled facilities. You'll get either 3 or 4 marks here. So 4.14 and 4.41 is your infrastructure finance related activities. So last 5 years income expenditure statement, you have to take it. From the income expenditure statement, you have to find out whether 20% funds are spent on infrastructure development. If the infrastructure development is about 20%, you'll get full marks here. Likewise, maintenance is around campus maintenance and equipment maintenance. The cost is coming around 15 to 20%, you'll get full marks here. So infrastructure augmentation 20%, maintenance 10 to 15%, you'll get full marks here. Then the library, whether you have e-journals, I think if you have e-journals, e-books we have, databases we'll have like NPTEL databases available. Sutkanga, Sudgunga, I think we can have one membership like Sod Chindu. Our remote access means is a Wi-Fi enabled campus. So if it is a Wi-Fi enabled campus and a remote access facility and possible, so you'll get full marks here. So library, the library expenditure on books and journal during last 5 years, on the average it is about 10 lakhs plus. If it is 10 lakhs plus, you'll get 3 marks. If it is 12.5 lakhs plus, you'll get 4 marks for engineering colleges. Arts and science colleges maybe around 7.5 and 10 lakhs. Okay. I think most of the colleges, the library expenditure is only around 4 or 5 lakhs, and if there is a journal subscription like IEEE journal, if you subscribe, your expenditure may come around 10 lakhs plus. Okay, so either you'll get 3 or 4 marks. The library usage also during 1920, during last academic year 1920, we had to submit our usage library utilization. If it is computerized, it is well and good. On the average, if it is around 10 to 15% student use the library, you will get full marks here. That is, if 1,000 students are there, 150 students or 200 students would go to library on a day-to-day basis. Student computer ratio for engineering college, it is around 1:6. So for 1,000 students or 1,200 students, we should have minimum 200 or 300 computers. You'll get full marks here. For arts and science college, it is 1:10. So if it is 1,000 students in arts and science, it is around 100 or 150 computers. And internet speed should be minimum 50 Mbps. If it is 50 Mbps plus, you'll get full marks here. Otherwise, less than some colleges we have 10 Mbps or 15 Mbps like that, you'll get only 1 mark here. Okay, and for the expert visit, all these questions they'll go through the infrastructure facilities, they'll go through the ambience of the classroom, labs, and computer center. They'll give either 3 or 4 marks here. Sports and games. Sports and games, the facilities are very good. They'll give either 3 or 4 marks. And library, if it is automated, they'll give full marks. And if it is even if it's not automated, they'll give either 1 or 2 marks. They'll give. And if there is a policy on computer infrastructure augmentation, and there is a policy on system maintenance and equipment maintenance, you'll get full marks here. Either 3 or 4 marks you'll get automatically. So for criteria 4, generally we can get good marks. So this college they got 3.6. Expert visit we can get either 3 or 4 marks. So on the average they'll get 3.5. Okay. Uh, so to get A plus plus, we have to get 88%, or 3.51 out of 4. 3.51 out of 4 we have to get for A plus plus. For A we have A plus we have to get 3.26. For A we have to get 3.01. So criteria 5 is slightly challenging because more data collection is there. Because he is asking 5.21, what is your last 5 years? What is the placement? The average placement is around 30 to 40%. You will get full marks here. And 5.22, how many students went for higher study during last 5 years? So during last 5 years, if the placement higher studies is around 15 to 20%, you will get full marks here. So last 5 years data we have to collect by deploying faculty members and calling the alumni, and we have to collect the data. Okay. And 5.11 and 5.22 is how many percentage of students getting government scholarship and how many students get the institute scholarship. Whether institute is giving any fee waiver. All your fee waiver, you can say it is a scholarship. You should have a policy document. We can say it is a scholarship. So 25 mark is your scholarship data. So if it is around 50% student get the government scholarship, like in Andhra Pradesh, you will get 100% student government scholarship. Telangana, it is around 60 to 70% student get scholarship. Tamil Nadu, it is around 40% student get scholarships. Maharashtra, again, government is giving scholarship. Okay. So if it is around 50% student have government scholarship and 10 or 15% student get the scholarship from the management, you will get full marks here. Okay, you will get full marks here. And all colleges we have the soft skill training, language lab, life skill program like yoga, health and hygiene, and ICT computer training programs. You will get full marks here. I think all engineering colleges, these activities are part and parcel of the placement training cell. And the percentage of student benefited for competitive exam career guidance 5.14. So if around 40 to 50% students are attending the career guidance program and the competitive exam training program, you get full marks here. And student grievances, if it is open platform and we have facilities on our website also, you'll get full marks here. placement and higher study already discussed, and student qualifying in the GATE, GRE, TOEFL examination. If it is around 20 to 30% student qualify in GATE, GRE, TOEFL, you got full marks here. So student co-curricular and extracurricular activity, nearly 40 mark is there. One is how many awards you got for your sports and cultural activities. If it is even 10%, 10 awards during last 5 years, you'll get full marks here. The number of sports and cultural activities around 40 to 50 activity. For sports and cultural events, you'll get full marks here. As I told you, 5.42, 5.42, if it is less than student alumni, if there is no contribution, we can opt out from this parameter. If the students are members in different committees, you will get full marks here, 3 or 4 marks here. And if your alumni society is registered and alumni are contributing to the college, then you will get full marks here. So this is criteria 5. And criteria 5 also, the data is very strong, like 40% placement they got, 24% they got student higher studies, and 30 awards they got for sports and games, and 189 sports and games activities conducted, and 189 awards they got, and 10 activities are conducted, sports and games. 31 is a percentage of student qualifying GATE, GRE, TOEFL, and they have all placement related activities, and 70% student get government scholarship. So they got 3.5, and the visits they got 3.3. So on the average they got 3.5. So criteria 5, if the data is very good, you'll get very good marks. So criteria 6, only 42 marks for quantitative data, and 58 marks is qualitative. Whether we have a lot of committees, decentralized citizen participative management, and perspective plan or growth plan. Okay, perspective plan or growth plan. Okay. Growth plan. What is your plan? Growth plans and organizational structural. Faculties and non-teaching staff. What are the welfare measures? Or whether the faculty performance appraisal is well streamlined. Whether we have internal and external audits. And your IQAC will contribute 30 marks, 20 marks in your qualitative, and 10 marks in the quantitative. So I think all these things expert will give either 3 or 4 marks, so you can get good marks in criteria 6. But in science and arts and science colleges, this I think the document evidences are not perfect, so they are getting less marks in criteria 6. Sometimes they get less mark in criteria 6. Okay, quantitative. If we have a software in all the activities are computerized, and you'll get full marks here. Next three questions are related to faculty development. So, if the teacher receives some money from the management for attending workshop, conferences, or professional body membership, around 20 to 30% faculties they have these facilities, they avail this opportunity, then they'll get full marks here. And if the college and department is conducting some faculty development workshop or seminars, and if it is around 10 or 20 program conducted, 10 or 20 program conducted, you get 3 or 4 marks here. And the faculty attending the FDPs online and offsite. I think during this coronavirus period, most of the faculty are attending online webinars. And if it is around 60 to 70% faculty attend the online or on-campus training program, you'll get full marks here. So it is basically faculty empowerment. At 6.42, generally I advise the colleges to opt out, because you are not receiving any money from any individual or NGO or government for philanthropy activities. So generally it is zero. And even if you receive money, it should be reflected in your income expenditure balance sheet and income, and then only it will be accounted. Then only it will be considered. So under this, if it is not reflected in the balance sheet, it will not be considered. And as I told you, the IQSA, if it is very active, and you have academic and administrative audit, and you are participating in the NARF, and you have ISO certification, and you have MBA also, you have participated, you will get full marks here. I think you have IQSC, and you might some ISO certification you might be having, or you have NARF ranking you have participated. You have the 3 marks will get here. Okay. So criteria 6. This college fairly they got good marks because their faculty empowerment is good. It is computerized. 3 activities are computerized, and they are opting out 6.42, and they have IQSC, they have NARF, they have ISO certification, and they have MBA also. So they are getting full marks here. So they got 3.7. It's a very good score, 90% plus. So expert visit they got 333. If some documents are very good, the experts are impressed with the college, they'll get even 4. So we can get 3.28. Okay. So criteria 7 uh, is again more weightage for quantitative parameters. As I told you at the beginning, 2 best practices we had highlight, we will get 30 marks here. And the institute distinctness, how the institute is located in a rural area and how it is contributing the society, you would highlight it. So, and this thing you would discuss during the principal presentation, and the experts are impressed with your presentation. We'll get minimum 3 will get here. Otherwise, in some cases, even we can get 4 also. Other thing is gender equity program. How many program we are conducting during last 5 years? Safety, security, counseling of the women students. We will discuss here. We will get 5 marks here, and you are how you have to highlight your solid liquid e-waste. How the waste is handled in the campus, and we have to provide an inclusive environment for boys and girls within the campus, and we have to have some guest lectures on values and ethics and duties and responsibilities for faculty and staff and students, and we have to celebrate the days, important days of the events, festivals within our campus. So you will get reasonably good score in criteria 7. The other 27 marks are related to the facilities within the campus. So whether we have facility for solar energy, biogas, wheeling to grid, and campus LED bulbs and sensor-based lighting, you'll get full marks here. If you have rainwater harvesting and borewell and tanks and wastewater management, water bodies, you'll get full marks here. If you have green campus and restricted entry facilities, battery powered vehicle, pedestrian friendly pathways, and plastic free campus, you'll get full marks here. So this is one area where we look into whether we have a audit report for green audit, energy audit, environmental audit. So this audit either it can be conducted by in campus, or you can involve a external agency. You have to collect the audit reports for the year 1920. So even if you are not conducted audits, you have to conduct the audits right now, and you have to take the report data for last year also, so that you will have marks and clean green campus and environment friendly activities. You will get full marks here. And if you for the disabled faculty and student, if you have the lift facility within your campus and the ramp facilities, signage boards are available, and toilet facilities and assistive tools for examination. During examination, you'll get full marks here. Code of conduct and other thing, I think we can display on the website. So we can criteria 7 also we can get decent marks. So this college they got 3.5 in quantitative and 3 here. So overall they got 3.1. So this college overall quantitative they got 3.10, qualitative if the experts are giving 3, they'll get 3.08, so they'll get A. So they get grade A. If the expert award 3.60, this college score is going about 3.28. 3.28 means it's above 3.26, so they get A plus. So to get A or A plus, you have to score minimum 3 in quantitative parameters, and automatically you'll get A grade. So if you get 3.1 or 3.2 in quantitative, and the experts award 3.5 or 3.6, you'll get your chances of getting A plus. Getting A double plus is very remote because NAC is controlling the colleges who are getting A double plus. And if you are getting a score of A plus or A double plus, your DVV you go through the data verification validation process for more than twice. Okay. For all colleges getting less than A or who are getting A, the DVV process may be only limited to only single. If your score is very high for A plus or A double plus, then you go through the data verification validation process either 2 or 3 times, and your score will brought down below A plus. Okay, so that is what is happening. So this is regarding the NAC. I hope I given all the points relevant for NAC A grade and A plus grade. And we are currently doing NAC accreditation for more than 70 colleges across the country. Right now, around 70 colleges we are doing all engineering, arts and science, and medical, dental, all colleges we are handling. And if there is any requirement, you can send a mail to my mail ID so that we can discuss. So this is the data verification process. This college have around 140 faculty members. They're asking selectively the appointment letter of some 10 faculty members they're asking during the data verification process. So this process also we have to go through successfully. They have 55 classroom and they are asking all the photographs and all the evidences should be geotagged. Geotagging means the location should be enabled and you have to capture the photographs. And this is how the experts are awarding the marks. So expert they have some 36 questions. So all the questions they have to award either 3 or 4 marks. So the college library is not automated. So even though it's not automated, instead of 0, the expert has given 2 marks they are given. So generally, the expert will give you either 3 or 4 marks, provided the ambience is very good, everything is perfect. So this is your scorecard. So this college got 3.37, so they got A plus grade. The next college they got 2.93, they got B plus plus. So these colleges who are getting B plus plus, you can apply for NAC reassessment after 1 year. Okay, so this is what is the score we are getting. This is number of colleges right now around 70 colleges undergoing NAC process under our guidance, and most of the colleges we are trying to get A grade. So this is how we'll enable higher score for all the colleges. We'll go through 2-3 times audits. You'll give inputs and we'll elevate the score 2.3. 2.3 is a first time audit score, and this goes up to 3.23 during the time of submission. So like that will help you to get higher score. I think most of the points are covered, and I think this video also will be available with the college, and you can take the. I think they'll also enable it on the YouTube. You can go through the session again if you want, and if there is any question, you can send it to my mail ID. My mail ID is mahadevan@asan.in or mahadevan@iee.org. Thank you very much. I